So welcome again. On this channel, I'm training on how to make money online and also ways or you can troubleshoot any issue you have with your computer, and also tips and tricks. So today, I want us to see a combination of 3 commands we have done for troubleshooting internet connection. One of them is ping. We did that in a separate tutorial. In details, also Ipconfig. I did that in a separate tutorial, and also Tracert. If you have not seen those videos and you'd want to learn each in details, be sure to check playlist section and also link in the description of this video. So today I want us to see how you can troubleshoot internet connection if you're not able to access a site. Let's say I'm trying to access Google and it says no internet. You can use ping, Ipconfig, and Tracert combined to identify the issue. So today, let's run the order in which you need to run this command and how to interpret results. So you press Windows button R, we type CMD to open command prompt. So inside here, we just type Ipconfig. Don't put flag threshold, just that is enough. Then you press enter. So you get output results. The first thing is to check the adapters. You ignore the ones that are disconnected, then check the ones that have returned details. If none have returned, then you may need to come to your Wi-Fi, right click, open network and settings, then you go to change adapter options, then check whether they are connected. If they are X, it means there is no connection. If it is Wi-Fi, you just right click, you go to connect or disconnect, then you connect to your preferred Wi-Fi. If it is cable and it is X, then it means there is an issue with your cable. You just need to change cable or you change the port and see if it connects. So let's go back, let's close that. So already we have one adapter that is connected, the one that have returned details. So let's analyze this output. Ignore IP version 6 and temporary IP version 6 and link to local IP version 6. You check IP version 4. Make sure the device is assigned a valid IP address. In some cases, you might find the IP address that is assigned on that is 169 dot then some numbers. If it starts with 169, that is the default IP address for your laptop. It means your device has not been able to identify a valid IP. I'll show you how then you can solve that. So you make sure IP4 address has a valid IP based on the IP address that are assigned to your router or DHCP server. Then you also make sure subnet mask is also valid and has entries. Then very important, default gateway. Make sure your default gateway points to your router. So the IP address that is assigned to default gateway is your router's IP address. We'll come to that. Let's run this in advanced mode where we put a flag / or. So Ipconfig space / or. Then you press enter. We get additional details. Again, IP version 4 is assigned. Subnet mask assigned. This you also check when it was obtained. If it is several days back or several hours back, you may need to renew that IP. I will show you shortly. Then you have default gateway assigned. Then next, if you have a DHCP server, make sure the IP is assigned. Like mine, the router and DHCP server is the same. DHCP server is the one that is assigning IP addresses to me. Default gateway is now my router that routes traffic to the internet. Then below that, very important, DNS server. So you already have a DNS server allocated. In some cases, you find you have 2 DNS servers. If none is assigned, then you may need to renew your IP allocation. So let's take two scenarios. One, you don't have a valid IP. It starts with 169 dot. So if it starts with 169, it means your device could not obtain a valid IP from your default gateway or DHCP server, depending on which one is assigning IP. Number two, if DNS server is invalid, you may need now to assign a new DHCP server address. If you're doing it manually, always put Google's DNS server. But in most cases for Wi-Fi, it is already pre-configured in your DHCP server. So let's see how then you can resolve the issue where you don't have a valid IP. Remember, Ipconfig checks IP configuration, and from the output, you just confirm that you have valid IP settings. So we run command ipconfig space /release to release our IP address. We release our IP allocations. So if you are connected on the cable or Wi-Fi, it will release the IP. And as you notice, IP version 4 is not allocated to any of my adapter. Again, we run ipconfig space /renew to renew our IP address. So we want to reassign IP address to our adapter. And notice IP version 4 is already assigned and default gateway. Let's run with ipconfig space /all. That is with that flag to see all the configurations for our wireless adapter. And as you notice, now if you didn't have a valid IP, you'll be assigned a new IP address, IP version 4, subnet mask, default gateway, DHCP server if there is any, and DNS server. So with that, you should be able to access Google. If you're not able to access Google, now you go to the next step. So we have identified we have a valid IP, and since our IP allocation is automatic, we also have our DNS server and also default gateway assigned. So the next step is to test connectivity to the router, and that's why you need to know your default gateway. It is the router. How do you know it? You use now the ping command. So you write ping space, then IP address for your default gateway, and we can see it in the wireless adapter configuration, which is 192.168.1.212. Then remember what I said in the previous tutorial. You can add another flag, a space, then minus or dash T to run continually. Notice I can ping my router. So I'm connected to my router. What does that indicate? Let me use Control C to terminate. So there is no loss in packets. So my laptop is connected to my router. So that means I'm able to go to the router. But beyond the router, that's where there is an issue. So the next thing is to ping the site. We are trying to access which site? So ping google.com. So we want to identify where the issue is. You notice this one I didn't use minus T. I don't want it to run continually because I want us to identify the two differences. Notice when I ping my router here, my default gateway, I'm getting reply. But when I ping Google, I'm not getting reply. It means my ping is not able to go past my router. That is, from my router to my ISP, that's where the issue is. So then you need to know where is this traffic dropped. So if you get a timeout when pinging your router, it means your router is the one that have an issue. So you need to go to the router and check. If you get timeout when pinging Google, but you're able to ping your router, then the issue is past your router. From your router, that is from the interface, outer interface, let me use terminology here, outer interface within your router all the way to ISP. What do I mean? In your router, there are two interfaces. There is the internal interface, which gives you the IP address that you are connected with. That is your network. Then there is the connection, the network to your ISP. That is the outer interface. So if you're able to ping your default gateway, it means you're able to connect to your router from inside. The next step now is to identify, are you able to ping your router from outside your router? If you already know your public IP, you can try to move your internet connection. You disconnect your Wi-Fi and maybe connect to your data. Then you try to ping your public IP, now the outer interface, the IP that you have been given by your ISP. If you are not able to ping that IP address, it means there is an issue now between your router and ISP. If you're able to ping, then the issue is the configuration within your router. So that's how you identify the issue with your router configuration. No? You ping, your internal network IP, that is the default gateway that is shown on Ipconfig when connected to your router or your Wi-Fi. Then you move to another network which is outside your router and try to ping your public IP. If you don't know your public IP, when you are connected to your internet, always try and do what is my IP. You just Google what is my IP. Note that IP somewhere and you save it. It's very important. So that when you try to ping it from a different network and you're able to ping, it means the issue now is with your router configuration. Between the interface, the inside the interface and outer interface. And you only need to log into your router and check. Maybe there is a rule or the firewall is blocking something. Remember, even the public, your internal IP could be given by DHCP server, which is within your firewall, which is different from your router. So if you're able to ping, it means you are pinging your firewall. You're not able to go ping router. That's why I said you need to also ping from outside. You try to ping from outside network, a different network, you ping your public IP. If you're able to ping, then the issue is the connection between your inside interface and outside interface. And you only need to log into your router or your firewall or both and check if they are different. If it is the same, just log in and check your configurations that they have changed. So then, we have tested our connection with ping and we have realized we are not able to go past our router. So what does that mean? The likely issue is the router settings or our ISP. So then how do you factor out the issue with your ISP? Try to ping your public IP. So the next step now is to test DNS resolution. Remember, for us to connect to Google, we need to convert google.com into an IP. That's how computers know each other. They know via IP, not the name. So you need DNS resolution, domain name resolution. So you need DNS resolution to resolve a domain google.com to an IP. So you are connecting, when you are connecting to Google, you're not connecting to google.com. On the internet, it will get IP address for Google. Go checking on each router. So it will start with your router. Does Google reside there? No. It goes to your ISP. Does it reside there? No. It goes to Google's IP. Does it reside there? Yes. But on which server? This is the IP. It fetches the file and returns to you. So that's the work of your DNS server. So we want to check DNS resolution, whether we are able to resolve a domain name into an IP, because that could be the other issue. So we go to ping google.com. We see if our DNS resolution is working. Yes, it is working. I think I should have been reconnected to a different Wi-Fi. Let's just confirm. Yes. Let me go back to the network that didn't have internet. At least now I can be able now to explain with these. Our ping for google.com resolves to this public IP for Google. So when I'm connecting, my connection will go to the DNS server that I've configured on my laptop and check. Does Google reside there? Let's just go back. We have a DNS server here, which is the same as my router. Does google.com reside there? No. It moves to the next router. Does Google reside here? No. That is, this IP, does it belong to you, that network? If it belongs to that network, then it goes to server within that network. This is the server where Google is hosted, and pulls now the website for Google and displays on my browser. So let's try to do a ping to Google. We can't be able to resolve. Again, we have issue with our DNS server. So what can you do? The next step is try to resolve our DNS. So you go to ipconfig / then fresh DNS. So ipconfig space / fresh DNS. I'll leave all these commands in the description of this video. So you press enter. DNS is flashed successfully. So let's try to ping Google again. Let's see whether there is anything that will come out. We have flashed our DNS. So ping have not gone through. And we confirmed our IP is assigned correctly. So our DNS is still not working. So the next thing is to confirm that we are able to route our traffic outside. And how do you do it? Is try to identify whether there is no network bottleneck. And this is where traceroute command comes in. So you want to see the path our request takes and where it's being dropped. It's very important. The path is the routers that are connected in between. So you do a trace route, TRACERT, route, then space, then the domain you are trying to access, google.com. Let's see. Again, we are not able to resolve the target name. Remember, DNS resolution is not working. So the next step, because we are not even able to do trace route, is to first confirm that you are able to ping your public IP. Right now, I don't have a connection I can test with. I can show you how to ping public IP, but if you have your public IP, try to ping it from a different network. So let me connect to a network that have internet. So we see how these commands resolve. So basically with these, we have identified, I have been assigned IP through ipconfig. It's here. So my IP is valid. I'm able to ping my router, but I'm not able to go past my router. Notice. So what is the issue? It's my router. And definitely it's my router because as I said, I connected to a connection that doesn't have internet. So let's move to a connection that has internet. Let me just connect. Then we try now to run the commands again to confirm that our connection is now resolved. So we start with IP config to confirm that we have a valid IP. So you have a valid IP and default gateway is there assigned. So the next step is to try and ping. We test our communication to our router. So we are pinging our router. I have a different IP now. Notice it is timing out. So there is an issue with that router. So if there is a timeout, then there is an issue with the local network. So that's it could be even your network administrator blocked a ping. Let's try and ping google.com. So then there's an issue with that network. Let's try. I'm not connected. Let's connect to these. Then we try to ping. Let's first get my IP. So notice my IP configuration, and in my DNS server, I also have Google's DNS server. So we try now to ping. We can try to ping Google directly, and notice I can be able to ping. So we want to see the next step, whether we are able to troubleshoot. That is domain name resolution through DNS server. Notice google.com resolved to this IP. So our DNS is working. Then the next thing was to trace route to Google. We see the routers that have been that we are hopping through. So we have the first hop. This is my router. Then my ISP. Then from my ISP now it will go to the other routers in between until it reaches where the Google website is hosted. Let's see the results. I have done this in full details. Then we should go all the way to this server. And notice we have reached to where Google's website is hosted, and we are able now to access, we should be able to access Google. So with the combination of this site, you should be able to resolve your internet connection. And notice I'm able to open Google. So in summary, you run Ipconfig to confirm that your IP have to confirm your device has a valid IP, gateway, and DNS server. And if there is any DHCP server, you identify where it is, because the issue could be there. If not, then fix IP or network adapter settings. That is on your laptop by either releasing and renewing your IP address using ipconfig / release ipconfig / renew. The next thing is to test connectivity to your router through ping. You try to ping your router. If you're able to ping, then try to ping Google's IP or any other IP. Like you can also try to Google a domain like google.com. If you're able to ping your router and you're not able to ping outside, then the issue is with your router. So you only need to confirm that you have been assigned through ipconfig the right default gateway. If it is different, then you may need to renew your IP or go to your DHCP server or the server that is assigning you IP, or even if it is your router or Wi-Fi access point, you make sure it has the correct default gateway settings. Then the next step is to test DNS resolution. Remember, google.com is resolving to an IP address. That IP address is the one that is used to locate google.com within the internet, within the web of internet. So if it doesn't resolve to the correct IP from the domain name, then you won't be able to access internet. So you only need to do ipconfig // DNS to resolve DNS cache on your laptop. Once that is resolved, you try to access internet. If you're not able to access again, use traceroute to locate where internet fails or slows down. Notice when you run traceroute, then space, then IP address, if you know the IP address of the server you are trying to access, or the website, if you know the domain name, you use that. You will notice in some hops, they are called hops, which are also routers. It might take some time, so you notice that's where the issue is. If you have slow internet, then you know that's where the issue is. If it is within your network, then you can go and resolve. If it is ISP, then you can call them. If it is beyond your ISP, then there's nothing you can do. You just wait. So you just check. If it goes to your ISP, then from there it jumps out to another hop, then it drops or slows down, then that is beyond you. You just wait. But you can contact your ISP to just confirm the connection is back. So that's how you use ping, ipconfig, and traceroute to identify where the issue is with your internet. And if it is through internet, then traceroute is the best, and also ping command. It can always tell you whether internet is slow. So ping command, you just check on the time it takes to return ping command. If that time is higher, then you have an issue with one of your connection. You only need to run traceroute and see where there is a timeout. Where there is a timeout, then it connects again. That's where the issue is. And you can now be able to resolve it either by calling your ISP or checking your settings. With that, I want to say thank you. And on this channel, I'm also training how to make money with TikTok and Sound.me. TikTok itself through live gifts, video gifts, and TikTok series where you can sell your videos. Also YouTube monetization and how you can make money. And also Facebook, how to make money on creating online business and what you need to do to set up that online business. That is website all the way to how you even display your products and how you set them to your customers and how you make money. And very important, blogging with blogger.com. How you get approved by AdSense, settings and steps you need to follow, and the duration you need to wait before you submit your application to AdSense that guarantees you approval. In this channel, we do everything practically until you see me up getting approved. And I tell you, this is what I did, and this is how long I waited. Then AdStera and blogger.com, and how you can make money even with affiliate marketing. So many ways. And also other technical courses. And in the description of this video, I've also left a link to my blog where I've done a detailed explanation of all these steps. Be sure to check. And also in the playlist section, you can see other videos. Remember to hit that like button if this video is helpful to you. And also subscribe to this channel so that when I do the next video, you'll be able to get notified. You'll be notified. Thank you so much, and let's meet in the next one.